Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here on Saturday, October 28th, continuing to cook up this NBA action, man. Y'all know what we do here on the Jam Session. We cook up every single game, every single day, man. If this is some content you'll enjoy, smash that like button for your guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to rock with me, rock with me. My premium plays are over at Pickdawgz Premium. There's a link in the description. There's also a link in the description for my Twitter. Follow me there, or X, whatever you call it nowadays. It's the same thing. Tomato, tomato. Follow me over there, man. I'm active there all day. We dropped our top play last night with the Sacramento Kings, man. It was disgusting. The Warriors, they now have, flipped it 180. Last year at home, they couldn't lose. Last year on the road, they couldn't win. To begin the season, now they have a win on the road and a loss at home. We got to figure them out. But I'm going to be honest. That's a game I would be on 10 times out of 10. So we dropped it last night. We'll get back on track today, man. Scoop up that top play over at Pickdawgz Premium or hop on something long term. Decent card today on a Saturday, man. I'm finna go through every single game right here, right now. I told you I would be back in the morning. I had to watch my Rangers last night. I was outside. That game was absolutely insane. Shout out to Adolis Garcia, man. Hey, I'm surprised I even have a voice to be doing this right now. I was screaming so goddamn loud, man. But hey, let's talk some NBA. Let's make some money tonight. Let's keep it rolling. These jam sessions have been very profitable to begin the season. Let's keep it rolling. Without further ado, let's hop right into tonight's NBA action. First game up, man, we got the Chicago Bulls out on the road facing the Detroit Pistons. Chicago, man, they got a dub yesterday, failed to cover. They won by one. Caruso with the game winner. The Bulls had plenty of chances to win that game in regulation. DeMar DeRozan missed like 3 or 4 free throws down the stretch. Only reason Chicago fought their way back in that game is Toronto found themselves deep in foul trouble. Toronto had like a 15-point lead with like 4 minutes to go in the game. Chicago fought back. DeMar DeRozan missed 3 free throws, pushed it to OT, could have won it in regulation, didn't. Caruso, game winner in the corner, The Pistons, man, they got a dub yesterday. They beat up on the Charlotte Hornets. Wasn't really all that surprising, man. I continue to tell y'all, this Pistons team is going to be a moneymaker for us. And here on this beautiful Saturday, I'm not overcomplicating it. I'm taking the Pistons. I'm going to take them straight up on the money line. Here's why. We're getting the Bulls back-to-back coming off of an overtime game in a game where they were playing sloppy as hell anyway. Zach LaVine looked horrible yesterday. He couldn't buy a bucket. I just think it's time to fade Chicago. They're not playing very well right now. And back-to-back games, I've liked what I saw from Detroit. This is a different Detroit team. They're coached by Monty Williams. Monty Williams has these young guys playing well, and I think they get their first home win. Chicago has dominated this series recently, but I think it's time for it to go the other way. Give me the Pistons straight up on the money line. Game 1 here on Saturday. All right, next game up, man. We got the Memphis Grizzlies out on the road facing the Washington Wizards. Grizzlies favored in this one by 1.5. Grizzlies played yesterday, man, and they lost at the crib. Denver came in there and got them. They did cover the point spread, but failed to win the game. Now they had to hop on a flight, leave Memphis, come up here to Washington on a back end of a back-to-back. I usually don't like backing teams on the back end of a back-to-back. It is early in the season, so the back-to-back is not as bad as it will be later on in the season. These guys still got fresh legs, basically, but still, back-to-backs are usually not the most profitable spot for teams. So Grizzlies are, working with that. And the Grizzlies were just flat out terrible on the road last year. They were as damn near as bad as it gets. And there was only one team that was worse on the road than Memphis, and it was Golden State. Golden State was 13-34 ATS out on the road, 27.7%. Memphis was slightly better, 14-29-1 ATS out on the road, 14-29-1 ATS out on the road, man. That's 32.6%. They were terrible out there. They haven't shown me really any signs of life to begin this season. I told y'all, I've been telling y'all, I think the Grizzlies missed the playoffs. You're missing a top 5 guard, one of the best guards in the NBA, and Ja Morant. And many thought they could just overcome that. I don't. I don't think Desmond Bane is good enough to carry this team to where they need to be in order to still be in the mix when Ja gets back. I think they're going to be too far gone, and it's going to be because of games just like this. I like the Wizards. I know they didn't look that good in their first game against the Pacers, but this is their home opener. I expect them to bounce back. This line's funky for a reason. It's because Memphis is terrible on the road. I think Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma get off tonight. I think they win straight up at the crib. Give me the Washington Wizards money line or 1.5. Here it is. Next game up, man, we got the New York Knicks out on the road facing the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans at the crib, laying 3.5 here in this one. First time we saw the Pelicans, man, they were on the road and they did beat the Memphis Grizzlies. It's a solid win. We know Memphis usually plays its best basketball at the crib. They won that game at 111-104. The Knicks, man, they're on the back end of a back-to-back. We just saw them play yesterday. They played in Atlanta, hopped on a flight now, heading to New Orleans. They won yesterday's game 126-120. Gave them, got a cover in that game as well. They lost their first one to the Celtics at home, 108-104. I'm really not all that surprised. I feel like the Knicks played their best basketball out on the road last season. Here's the thing. I just don't like this back-to-back for the Knicks. I know it doesn't mean much, as I said earlier, because it's the beginning of the season. These guys still have fresh legs. But still, I think there's still something to the back-to-back. I think the Pelicans are just straight up the better team anyway. I'm going to lay the 3.5 with New Orleans at the crib. Remember, when New Orleans was healthy last season, they were one of the best teams in the NBA. And that's what they are currently, healthy. And I just think they come out and hoop tonight at the crib behind their home crowd. A home crowd that really hasn't seen this team healthy in quite some time. This Pelicans team is going to be a sneaky, really good team, just like they were last year when healthy. Injuries derailed their season, and injuries very well could derail it again this year. But when healthy, they have some of the best top-tier talent. Ingram, Zion, McCollum. I like this team, man. I think they get it done at the crib tonight. I don't like the back-to-back for the Knicks. I'm going to take the Pelicans. I'm going to take the better team, in my opinion. I'm going to lay the points with them at home. Next game up, man, we got the Indiana Pacers out on the road facing the Cleveland Cavs. Cavs laying 3.5 here in this one. This game's tough currently. We got some injury news. Darius Garland still game time decision. He did not play last night. Jared Allen game time decision. He did not play last night. We also got the Cavs on a back-to-back. They lost last night to Oklahoma City at home. The Pacers, Halliburton, I see him as a game time decision, and that I think is the main piece to this puzzle. The Pacers last year, when Halliburton played, this team the sky was the limit. He's their motor, he's their engine, he's the one that gets this team going. When he didn't play, this team was bad. They were running around like a chicken with their head cut off. This is kind of what the Pacers look like without Halliburton. So I need Halliburton in this one. This is my thoughts. Halliburton plays. I'm taking the Pacers plus the points and on the money line. I think they can legitimately go in here and beat the Cavs. I think they can run and gun these boys out the gym, and I think that the Pacers could win this game straight up. If Halliburton does not play, it's a no play for me. If he plays, I also like the over. I think it's going to be a track meet. I can see Donovan Mitchell and him getting in a little scoring battle, and points. That's how I see this game. Halliburton plays, I'm taking the Pacers plus the points and money line. Halliburton doesn't play, it's a no play. I kind of also lean towards an over. So that's my thought process on this. Next game up, man, we got the Philadelphia 76ers out on the road facing the Toronto Raptors. Philly, road favorite, laying 4 in this one, and they were pretty profitable in that spot last year as a road favorite. Philly, road favorite last year, 14-8-1, covered in 63.6% of their games. They're comfortable here in this spot. I know they don't have James Harden, but if you watch their first game against Milwaukee, their offense looked just fine without him. Maxey can still run this offense. They still have one of the top 5 players in this league, the MVP from last year, Embiid, who can get his own shot, facilitate, do all those good things. The Sixers are still going to be a viable team. They're still going to be right there in the thick of things. Their head coach, Nick Nurse, going up against his old team. He's familiar with being up here in Toronto. I just think it sets up well for the Sixers to get this dub, man. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I'm taking Philly I'm laying the 4. We got Toronto on a back-to-back. They had to travel in that back-to-back as well. They were in Chicago last night. They lost. Now I have to come back to Toronto. They did play well in Toronto their first game against Minnesota, but I'm not going to read too much into that. Last night, I did not like what I saw. They should have won that game. Toronto should have won that game. I had Chicago on that one. I lost anyway. I laid the 2. But Toronto should have won that game, man. They had a 15-point lead late in the fourth quarter. Then all of a sudden, everybody want to start fouling. They got deep into foul trouble. Guys left the game due to fouls, and then they couldn't get the ball in to save their lives. Like, there was plenty of chances. All they had to do was get the ball in, get fouled, shoot the free throws, escape with a win. They couldn't do it. Part of that is first-year head coach. They don't really have, many out-of-bounds plays probably. B, part of it is Toronto's just not that good of a team. And C, I think they lose tonight, quite honestly. Again, I'm taking the Sixers. I'm laying the points. Nick Nurse finna go out here and coach a clinic against his old team. And quite honestly, they just don't have nobody to guard Embiid. Look for him to have a big game. I look for the Sixers to win this one on the road and continue to stay profitable like they were last season as a road favorite. Next game up, man, we got the Miami Heat out on the road facing the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves favored in this one at the crib, laying 4.5. I thought that line was interesting, in all honesty. I think most people would just blindly think the Heat are the better team in this game. And there might be some validity to that. Of course, we just saw the Heat in the NBA Finals, but when you kind of just take a step back, this was the 8th seed in the East last year versus the 8th seed in the West. You know what I mean? So there's that. Then there's Miami's on a back-to-back. And when you go back and look at last year, they weren't that good on back-to-backs. They were actually pretty bad in back-to-back situations last year. Minnesota was really profitable in spots where they had the rest advantage in the game. They do have that. They did not play last night. Of course, Miami did. And then when I just look at these two teams, player for player, roster for roster, I think the Timberwolves match up quite well with Miami. Miami kind of plays that small ball lineup with Bam at the 5. Well, the front court for the T-Wolves is huge. Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert. I understand how this line is 4.5. I really do. And I am going to take the Minnesota Timberwolves in this one. I'm not, they are still the house of disappointment. But it works both ways. They lost their first game, a game they should have won. We've seen them do this plenty of times last year. They usually bounce back in a game where you kind of scratching your head like, damn, the T-Wolves did them like that. I think that's what we're looking at here in this one. I think the T-Wolves win this game really comfortably. I just think it's a bad spot for Miami. Played the team that, they put out of the postseason last year in Boston last night. They really didn't look that good. They really didn't look that good in their first game either. Miami Heat, they kind of feel like they're just doing what they did last year, going through the motions in the regular season. I think that gets them beat tonight on the road. I'm going to take the T-Wolves. I'm going to lay the 4.5 here in this one. Last game of the night, man, we got the Utah Jazz out on the road facing the Phoenix Suns. Suns at the crib, laying 5.5. This will be their home opener. We got another game where we got a team with rest advantage. The Suns did not play yesterday. The Jazz are on a back end of a back-to-back, and they had to travel. They left Utah, now had to head to Phoenix to play a Suns team in their home opener. This is my thoughts on this one. Jazz are healthy, no injuries. The Suns, same too. Bradley Beal will not play. I see Devin Booker, game time decision. I'm pretty positive Devin Booker doesn't play tonight. They announced that the other night that he would possibly miss 2 games. This would be the second game. I don't think he plays. So with that being said, I think once that news finally drops that Devin Booker will not play, I think this line comes down a bit from 5.5. I think we're going to be looking at like Suns 3.5. And I think that's the much better number. I would much rather have that. So I say wait and then take the Suns. It's the last game on the card tonight, so we got plenty of time. When that Booker news drops, I'm pretty sure the line is going to drop as well. We're going to get a better number to hop in here on the Suns. But, of course, I'm taking the Suns here at the crib. Home opener. Kevin Durant finna hoop on the Jazz. Jazz on a back-to-back. A back-to-back where they beat a good team. Nah, I just don't. It just doesn't set up well for the Jazz, in my opinion. I think Phoenix hoops tonight. It's just about getting the right number. 5.5, I don't think is a bad number. I could see the Suns putting it to the Jazz in this spot, but I'd rather have the best number, and I'm pretty positive this line's going to come down a bit when the Booker news hits. Give me the Suns. Last and final game of the night. I'm going to lay the points. And that's going to conclude this episode of my NBA Jam Session. I appreciate every last one of y'all watching this video. Smash that like button for your guy, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're rocking with me, rock with me. I got premium plays over at the site. There's a link in the description. It takes you right to my handicapper page. There's also a link down there, man. Follow me on Twitter. I'm active there all day. Any questions, concerns, anything like that, man, just at me, tweet me, DM me over there. Let's make some money tonight, man. Let's keep it rolling. The jam session has been very profitable to begin the season. I'm very proud of that, and I appreciate all you guys tuning in. The jam session might be posted in the morning again tomorrow. My Rangers play again tonight. Hey, guys, it's World Series. This is as good as it gets. You know what I mean? My team's in the World Series. They haven't been there since I was 11. I'm sorry. I got to go cheer on my team. I got to be outside with the vibes. But, of course, I'm going to cook up the NBA games per usual. So, may not be tonight, but it definitely will be posted in the morning. And my NFL jam session will be posted as well. So, be on the lookout for that. Let's get ready to make some money, man. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs. See y'all when I see y'all, man. I'm out of here. Peace.